I think one of the biggest traps that people fall into when they first start trying to create content is trying to gather and learn as much as they can without actually making videos or doing streams or doing TikToks. They are just trying to constantly be in the state of learning, and it low-key just stops them from making content in general. Now, one of the original reasons I'm even making this video is because I saw a clip from, I think, one of the AMP guys, either Duke or Agent. Someone in their chat asked them how should they start doing content, and they the first thing they said was just, you shouldn't be asking me. Like, there's just no reason to ask me because there's nothing I can tell you that can help you start. Which sounds kind of crazy, right? You're asking one of the biggest creators on the platform that's been doing it for well over 10 years, like, can you just get a little bit of advice to begin, right? But they tell you that they can't really help you. And it sounds crazy because they know everything, all the ins and outs of making a video or making good content pieces, but they still cannot help you. And the reason they can't help you is because you're asking that question in the first place. You're admitting that you haven't started yet. But I think it's this exact mindset that will hinder growth so much, because I've been there too. There was a point in time where my videos weren't banging and I thought they were the best videos of all time. So I'm just sitting here researching every day, trying to figure out how to make my content better. But at the end of the day, I just really didn't have enough experience doing it and have enough analytics to even go off of what's working and what's not. And this is actually kind of the first thing I want to talk about and dive into. And it's something I would just call the advice threshold. The amount of advice or amount of knowledge you can learn / consume until you can't really learn anymore without applying what you've already gathered to your art. Like, let's take drawing for example. You can watch 1,000 how to draw videos, but until you actually start putting pen to paper, you're really not going to be remembering and retaining a lot of that information because you didn't even get to apply it before learning new information. The same concept is the same thing keeping most creators, I feel like, just stuck in a box a lot of the time, or feeling burnt out when they really have no idea what they're really even doing yet. Like, I shouldn't be seeing videos of people that literally have 5 videos up saying they don't know what to do next or that they're burnt out, because you haven't even put enough reps in to really even know where your content stands in general. And I'm gonna be honest, the amount of advice you can even get on making content in the first place is really not as vast as you think it is, because a lot of it has to do with learning human psychology and how the human brain interacts with the internet and watching videos. I'm gonna be honest, it low-key gets weird, but it's really not even that deep. A lot of people will just make videos with 1,000 edits with 1,000 memes in them, 1,000 cuts, and all these cool effects that they've seen their favorite YouTubers use over the years. But in the end, even though they can replicate the style, they don't necessarily know why it works in the first place. So they ended up probably implementing a lot of different things wrong. Holy schmo. I think the best examples of this are imagine the LARP trend now, right? There was a time before the LARP trend where people were actually getting crucified for being Corey X Kenshin clones.
When is it ever too late to achieve your dreams, bro?
At what age is it too late to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish?
Make sure to slice that like button, subscribe if you're new.
This is Samurai. Slice that like button. Subscribe today to join the Samurai.
But those clones are kind of proof of exactly what I'm saying, because they took a lot of inspiration and drew a lot of features from certain YouTubers, namely Corey Kenshin, right? Applied them to their video and got backlash instead of praise. I think a different scale of this would be a lot of Minecraft or Pokemon YouTubers kind of do very similar ideas, and they low-key get away with reusing ideas because people just like them that much, and the audience is just so massive. But I swear I've scrolled past the same Minecraft 100-day videos or 1,000-day videos for the last 4 or 5 years. I'm not even trolling. But a good example of this that would go underused or fly under people's radars because it's only massive in a certain niche, or it just started in a certain niche, would be that video trend of my first video, and then it gets 100k likes. A lot of people might just steal the video idea and not really use it correctly. But the people that are using it correctly would understand that it works because it's like a real life day one video. A part one or a day one of any series will always be the highest viewed. Now, add that on top of you actually starting your YouTube journey and people wanting to be there for that. I mean, it just multiplies the views by like 10. They created the most raw version of a story or narrative they could because it is literally real. But there's also another deeper reason for why people get stuck in traps and just filling themselves up with advice content instead of actually making videos. It's simply about the psychology of what is going on when you're actually watching this content. And funny enough, the content is meant to do this, by the way. It is literally meant to trap you. It is like almost a fake version of perfectionism. It's like, okay, you learn everything and then you're guaranteed to win, which is why a lot of people who do this burn out, because they think they're guaranteed to win by sitting here and learning. Nothing in life is guaranteed for you except one thing. But hey, let's not even go there. But a lot of people think by learning and by filling themselves up with advice and believing they're covering more ground by watching videos about making things instead of making things, they think they're going to get like a head start almost, as if they're going to be in front of the guy that was probably making 20 videos or doing 10 stream per day while they were just sitting there watching videos about making content. I can guarantee you the guy that was hands-on and actually in the field making the videos and doing the streams is going to be ahead. It is also just non-confrontational to do. You don't have to sit there in front of OBS, or you don't have to sit there in front of an editing software to fight your demons. A lot of people are actually just kind of like scared of recording themselves or scared of live streaming because it's like, it's weird, right? You're talking into a camera, and even though you feel like you want to do it, you kind of have to sit there and struggle with it every time you want to make some content. You sit there and you look at OBS, you're sitting there just staring at yourself in the monitor instead of actually getting into whatever idea you had that day. But I don't know. I don't have too much else to say without just rambling on, so I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. This was like just a rant video, bro. I didn't even use a face cam. I don't even know what gameplay is going to be on the screen, dog. Someone recommend me something I can put on the screen. Do I return the Leafy style and go do some CS surfing or what? I don't know. But I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.